So you think about getting your first motorbike in the UK. Maybe it's about freedom, fuel savings, or just the thrill of the open road. But which bikes do you actually start with? Legally, practically, and without blowing your budget or confidence? Let's break this down. So before we talk bikes, here's what you're allowed to ride. CBT, compulsory basic training, is a 125cc max with L plates, obviously no passengers. A2 license, bikes up to 35 kilowatts or 47 brake horsepower, or restricted versions of more higher powered bikes. And a full license, any power, though more isn't always a better start. There's no need to jump onto a 1000cc straight after you got your full license. Most new riders begin with the CBT, so let's focus on the 125s first. Right, these are your top learner bikes, legal on CBT, easy to ride and perfect for learning. Honda CB125F or Honda CB125R. I started on 125R. The gold standard in beginners bikes. Pros, they're absolutely bulletproof, reliability, fantastic fuel economy, very forgiving. The cons, it's basic styling, although the cafe races look quite good, but some would say not super exciting or their style. But I tell you what, it's an absolute and utter workhorse, and naked bikes are best for learning with cornering, and naked bikes are best, for instance, if you're intending on doing your license and you're doing your Mod 1 and you have to dance through all those cones with slaloms and U-turns and everything else with it. Alright, next sport bikes, 125s. Yamaha 1ZF R125, a sporty looking 125 with premium build. Pros, fantastic looks, great handling, holds value. The cons, it's pricey. Pricey new, aggressive riding position, so it can be a bit risky, and it can be very high on insurance as well. Speaking of high in insurance, you've got the KTM Duke 125, a naked, so that's really good for beginners. Lightweight, punchy little bike. It's very agile, it's very stylish, it's very fun to ride, so it's good to learn to ride on. The negatives, slightly firmer ride, pricier servicing than a Honda, for instance. Now, Suzuki Gixxo R125 is also a possibility, sleek and slightly cheaper than the Yamaha. It's a good sports bike styling, responsive, light. I would say it's quite good for shorter people. The negatives is it's got a small tank and it has less dealership support. Then we can move on to the Aprilia Tuono 125, naked Italian style, a bit rare on the roads. Unique design, solid performance. The disadvantages is they are expensive new, parts can be slower to get. And lastly, and not least, the Lexmotor LXR 125 as a budget sports style bike. Okay, so if you just want to start riding and you just want to buy something and start practicing gear, and then this is the bike to get. I mean, it's cheap, new, it looks good. But the disadvantages are something you really need to look at here. Although lower on insurance, it's low build quality, not ideal for long-term ownership, and they will not hold their price. My advice would be go Japanese. All right, let's talk cruisers. So we've got sports bikes. We've talked about naked bikes. Cruisers aren't as common for beginners in the UK, but if you like a relaxed riding style and a classic look, they might be perfect. Here are two better quality cruiser style options: your Honda Rebel 125 or your Honda Shadow 125. Now these are scaled down versions of popular Rebel 500. Super low seat height, easy to handle. Honda reliability. The only disadvantages is they're only available used, really, because they're not really made anymore. It's no longer in production in the UK. Also not that manoeuvrable and slower speeds, just like sport bikes, so not really useful for Mod 1 training. You can, but then you have to start getting really good. Alright, so let's talk about naked bikes versus sport bikes versus cruisers. Which is the best for you? Well, with the naked bikes, like the CB125F or the Duke 125, your advantages are upright, easy control, great visibility. Your negatives, less wind protection, not as flashy. Okay, that's the consensus. Sport bikes, the pros, they are really cool, sleek looks, sharper handling. The advantages, you've got to think of your wrist, you've got to think about back strain, you've got to start thinking about your neck when you're bending forward. So they are obviously less comfortable on longer rides. For cruisers, if you're looking at the Rebel 125 or the Honda 125, Ultra low seat height, comfortable, great confidence builder. The disadvantages, however, they are heavier, they are slow in handling and not ideal for tight urban traffic. So which style actually suits you? You would need to decide, do you want to go naked, best for all-round beginners? Do you want a sports bike? It looks and with looks and cornering, if that's your thing. I mean, I'm on a sports bike right now. Or do you want to go relaxed cruiser for an easy-going ride? So what makes a great first bike? No matter what bike you go for, look for lightweight frame, easier to control. Think about comfortable ergonomics. Upright or relaxed beats aggressive. Reliable brands with parts support. You've got to think Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki. Low running costs, especially if you're under 25. I would avoid buying purely based on looks. Go for the fastest bike you can afford. Don't skip on proper riding gear. And don't forget insurance, road tax and MOT and ongoing maintenance. This is something that has to be researched very, very carefully before you buy your bike. Now, if you've passed your A2, bikes I would recommend is the Kawasaki Ninja 400, sporty, beginner friendly and reliable, or any of the Honda 500 range because they're comfortable, versatile, great for long rides or commuting. Yamaha MT-07, if it's restricted, you can ride in A2 because it's punchy and it's fun, but tame when it needs to be. And of course, if you're into your cruisers, your Royal Enfield Meteor 350 cruiser style, ultra relaxed, great for A2 riders wanting that classic experience. Now, final advice, I would say best beginner commuter is your Honda CB125F. Best sporty 125 is your Yamaha YZ FR125. Best cruiser, I would stick to the Hondas. Best A2 all-round, I would say Kawasaki Ninja 400. And best cruiser for A2 full license, your Royal Enfield Meteor or even a Super Meteor. Final tips, I would say start small, learn safely and don't let ego pick your first bike. Budget for gear first, not just the bike. And enjoy it. The first ride is something you'll never forget. Now, if you've got a bike in mind, drop it in the comments and I'll tell you if it's a smart choice or if it's one to skip. And remember, it's not just about the destination, it's all about the journey. This has been Angel Talk. I'll see you in the next one.